Hello, my friends. So, I have something that's so mind blowingly simple, but will probably help like 95% of you out there. Or whether you have timing issues, issues tightening on your stroke, you're tightening too much, and you're struggling to make contact well. This is really going to help. So, you're going to want to listen because what I'm about to tell you is very simple. And when you hear it, and you're one of the people that have overthought this concept, you're gonna be like, holy, that, right? You're gonna be like, wow, that's intuitive. Why didn't I think of that? But actually, it's natural to kind of like do too much in this step, okay? So you guys know that in tennis, for me at least, I'm always preaching doing simple stuff, doing natural stuff, right? So we're going to talk about the forehand backswing, and it's not going to be anything crazy like the modern forehand or like whatever. I'm just going to give this simple point. Here is former number one in the world. Just kidding. It's just me. I know, disappointing, right? But here's what we're going to talk about. Everybody knows unit turn. Everyone that has been in tennis, and you probably all know these crazy concepts, but I want to talk about how far the racket is, or your hand is, when you make your unit turn and you're going to go for your backswing, right? Because I see a lot of things, I see a lot of crazy backswings, and there could be many reasons for them, but I think one of them is when people try to get power, they tend to tense up. And when they tense up, their arms do weird things, whether it's way out here or they really like push the elbow back. This is my opinion, and this is what I teach. I think the best way, unit turn, when you get your racket to your backswing, is to be a comfortable distance, a very natural distance away from your body, not too far and not too close. Everything in moderation, and especially when it comes to tennis. Okay? So I want you guys to be paying attention to how far your hand is from you on your backswing, not just how high or how low or how much of a loop or which way your racket is facing, because that could differ depending on so many factors like grip and all that stuff, right? So this can be weird for some people though, because if you're used to doing this all your life, then anything else is going to feel really close. It's not going to feel natural. So you're going to have to look at this from a lens where you're not you have to look at this more objectively and see, okay, if my arm is like this on my unit turn, then it's probably far. It's probably not natural, and I'm just used to doing something that's exaggerated. So let's look at my forehand real quick. Okay, so unit turn, right? Super simple. But some unit turns can be really exaggerated. Like some people, they're like, oh, unit turn, and then I can get ready in time. But then some unit turns take too long because you're like way out here, but this is still considered a unit turn. And some unit turns, people are jamming their elbow way back. Okay, so this causes a lot of issues, because let's look at mine in slow-mo first. So here, you want the swing path to be more or less down and straight into the ball as your body rotates, like slightly inside out, just to extend slightly, but not so much your racket goes behind your body too much, right? Now, if we think about this intuitively, you're gonna have, if you're out here, you have to adjust. Like if you go like this, you have to adjust your swing back in and then go onto your swing path and hit. And if you cram your elbow back here like this, then you have to go back into your set position on the path of the ball, rotate and hit. Now, if you do this a billion times, I'm sure you'll be able to time the ball at some point. Not efficiently, but if you do something enough times, you'll reach a certain level of proficiency, right? So let's look at my stroke a little more. So my racket starts here. And it just goes through. Okay, now we can watch this. We can watch this in real time. It'll look a lot smoother in real time. Because any slow-mo, it looks like the guy's going like this on purpose. But they're not snapping on purpose. I'm not snapping on purpose. It just happens. Right? So you can replay that if you'd like. But I don't think there is a perfect stroke for everyone. Everyone's going to have a little different, they have different habits in their strokes, but I think there are things that people can focus on that will apply to a lot of people, more people than not, right? Like, I think this tip will help like 95% of people with their backswing and having it feel fluid. Because if you're coming back a natural, like a comfortable distance, not too far, not too close, then it's just easier to replicate over and over. And your swing path will stay on the intended swing path because you don't have to adjust this way, then adjust this way, and then get on your swing path and hit. The reason people have these things is because they want to hit hard, and when they tense up, that's just what happens. Whether it's like they did it on purpose or they didn't pay attention to their stroke before and it just happened. This really creates, you don't want to hit with tense muscles in tennis, and the more comfortable and natural you can make your stroke, the drop becomes a lot more fluid, and the rest of the arm swing, your stroke will just go on the intended path a lot easier because you're not going off the path onto the path and then into your finish, right? So that seems really obvious, but it's not always obvious. Like, I think I struggled a lot with it on my backhand. My backhand was very outside in for a while, and it's returning back to normal after a lot of thought. But nice forehand, dude. Let's see if I hit some more. Yeah, if you watch a lot of pros, you're going to see somewhat of the same thing. There's going to be like a path next to them that their hand and their racket stays within that path as their body rotates through the ball. Of course, it's going to be a little bit different if it's inside out, if it's really far, and they're going for a cross court angle. Slightly different angles depending on where you're positioned on the court and what your target is. But there's always going to be the path that your racket should be on and how much your shoulders are turned to line yourself up to hit certain targets. And I think that's what's really important for people to realize, is that it's not always the exact angle your racket is on when you're preparing, because that's going to differ a lot on grips and some ticks. Like I'm here, right? And like Yannick Sinner gets his racket to face the back fence on his set. So, I don't think that my stroke and his stroke, either one, are wrong because the different racket face. But I think what really matters is when it gets on the intended path, how well someone's able to replicate it. And of course, practice helps. Practice will always make you able to replicate something more. But in terms of efficiency and letting your muscles work how they're supposed to, like, this type of thought process for your stroke just makes a lot more sense in my opinion. And a lot of my students and new people that I get, as soon as I correct just how far they're going on their unit turn, just here instead of here or here, the stroke becomes a lot better, and then it's only been like 2 seconds into the lesson, right? So this is just a small thing that I want a lot of you to think about. Yeah, I don't have much more to say, really. I just try to incorporate this, try to figure out what your backswings look like, and run with it. I'll try to come up with more stuff later, but this was my tip for the day. And yeah, have a good one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's been pretty good. I'm starting to play a little bit more tennis. I've been playing with the Clash lately because Sweet Spot is so freaking big. I'm kind of enjoying not having to be very precise with my racket. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. Anyway, have a good day. As always, peace out, fam.